What's up, agents, and welcome back to a Division Resurgence video where I'm going to show you the absolute best way to play Resurgence on your PC. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. This game plays absolutely fantastic if you're playing it on your mobile iPhone 17. It plays brilliantly. If you're playing it on an iPad, if you're playing it on an Android phone or tablet, a Samsung Galaxy, S22, 23, 24, plays brilliant. But not so much on BlueStacks on PC. I've had a huge amount of crashing. It's been very frustrating and it looked pretty ugly. So I have been looking for a new way of playing it, and I have found an emulator that Destiny Rising used for the mobile game, and it's the Mumu player. Now there is one caveat you'll have seen on the screen right now. My face looks white. That's the only downfall to this, but it makes the game look phenomenal. So we're going to go through all the settings, how I set it up with the mouse and keyboard. I'm also including the file down below for your keyboard settings so that you don't have to do any messing about. Okay, so I'm going to start from scratch. This might be a slightly long video because I'm going to try and remember all the settings that I've changed. But I installed Mumu Player. Mumu Player has been around a little while and it's been very popular recently because it's a Destiny Rising mobile official emulator for the PC client. So this is my device settings. As you can see, I went Vulkan here. I put it on high. I've got optimal graphics quality on, forced use of my graphics card. Display I got set to phone. I wanted the higher DPI. I don't actually know if that actually makes any difference. Like a tablet one with, you can see there. Let me put that back down. So the resolution's a bit different, but this was the one that I just had the most success with. I played so much. It's been crazy. Maximum FPS. This is actually dictated by the settings in the game. So it really doesn't matter how much you pump this up. It's not actually going to make too much of a difference. And what I'll do is I'll put this up to 1 to 1, just so you'll get an example of that in the game and you'll see. Hopefully I won't crash it. And then all of these are kept the same. I didn't change anything there. I didn't change anything for the sound. And I didn't do anything for the network. In the model, I went Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. That's the best one that is available that's on the market. What I am interested to know though, if there'll be an actual setting that we could perhaps specify that will allow us to edit more of the graphic settings in the game. And I'll show you that in just a moment. And I'm kind of hoping that that's going to be a thing, because then we can use that essentially to make the game think it's allowed to give us these settings. What it gives us are ones that it's restricted per form. So we'll close that out now and hopefully we'll click play and it will boot up. So as you can see, it thinks it's a phone. So we get that kind of viewpoint. Once you get into Android, follow the instructions that you got when you redeemed your test key. And the game does have its own inbuilt direct input keyboard and mouse settings, but I couldn't get them working. So I did set up my own Mumu settings, which I'll include the file in the description like I did previously with the BlueStacks one. So you can just import the file and you'll be good to go, and you can just make your own edits at that point. But this has never crashed on me. It looks fantastic and it has never ever crashed at all. Which is great. You can press F11, you can go full screen, and as you can see, this looks blisteringly good, just as good as it does on my iPhone on a very, very small screen. And it loads faster. The whole performance on this emulator is just so much better than it was on the BlueStacks. I am just going to flip back to the settings here. There was one setting that I'm pretty sure it's not shown us. Just power this off very quickly. There was one that I definitely needed to change. Device settings. It's going to be on display. No, maybe it's not. Model. Yes, so on the model at the bottom, the GPU model, this was set as medium. I pumped it up to high, and that does seem to make a difference. But obviously as well, this is actually going to be dependent on your PC and what it can actually support. These emulators are extremely resource hungry, so just be aware of that as well. So let's get back into the Division. All right, so now we are in the game. Let me show you what the graphic settings are. As you can see, it looks snappy. It plays really, really well. And you know, it maintains, although it says 30 FPS, I don't feel like it drops frames. I feel like it's actually more, and it just works really, really well. So let's go over all of that now. So if you go into this menu here, you scroll down the side, and there it is. So I found that it got some lag the minute I put high and very high, and didn't really see any good performance, you know, in it at all. Definitely no FPS performance or anything like that. And I don't really feel like it looked any better. Where I felt like the game started to look better was the higher you have the resolution, the better the game looks. Now, what is interesting is, unfortunately, you can't have a high resolution and a medium frame rate. These frame rates are 30, 45, and 60. And I guess it then gives you them options depending on what phone or tablet you've got selected in the Mumu player. So I don't know if there's any that will let us go, you know, medium, high, high. I think that's where this game would really shine on PC in this setting. But it would be really cool, you know, if the dev team or anything like can come back and, you know, maybe build it in a pretend phone, and they can say, right here, put that as a Samsung with this model, and that will actually give you more PC flexibility, because, you know, obviously we can emulate, and it gives us a few more options rather than, you know, them being catered to not overheating the actual phone itself. They've got to obviously got to set them settings for a Samsung S25, because obviously they'll know, you know, they'll have the data on what it can run, and they won't want to break a person's phone. But obviously we're emulating, so it would be nice if we had a bit more free reign with these settings. But again, I'm only guessing here. It might not actually be that. So standard on the frame rate, and yeah, high here on the resolution, and it just looks, you know, really, really good, as you saw when I logged in. So the only thing that we do have a problem with, though, is if you look at my character, we have white faces. Now obviously in BlueStacks we don't, that works, but BlueStacks looks absolutely terrible in comparison to what this looks like. BlueStacks crashes all the time. This is really, really stable. I don't think I have had a crash at all, and it makes it really, really playable. It says as he gets a bit of a stump there as I ran into the base. But yeah, it's really, really good. So let me just show you what settings I changed, and I'll show you how I created the control file. I'll also include the control file down below in the description so that you can actually use it as well. But I'll show you how to create it so that, you know, if you don't want to use my file, I get that, you'll be able to create it as well. So first of all, let's go into the actual settings in the game, because there are a few that I actually changed. So I don't know if I'm going to go through them briefly, because I'm not sure, I can't remember everything that I changed. But entering cover I put to manual. Then this is what, you know, I don't know if I ever changed the auto ADS. I don't think I did. But I'll just kind of call out, I'll scroll through it so you can pause or slow it down. Vaulting options, I've got manual. Auto climb I've got set to no. Combat settings, I've got cover to manual. Auto enter cover down to no. Then I'll scroll down a bit here. The sprint sensitivity I've got to 100, and I'll show you why in just a moment. That's to do with not being able to really auto run how I liked it. Auto climb is no, and I think these are all standard. Weapon settings, I changed the aim mode to hold, so it acts like a PC. When you right click, it will ADS, and when you let go, it will un-ADS, if that's even a word, because the standard is when you right click, it will just kind of zoom in, and you can let go and it'll stay zoomed in. You have to click it again for it to let go. It's on tap. So I did change that, but then I didn't change anything else on here at all. Generic settings, I just looted the exotics. I don't want to lose them. I did try this external device UI, but I couldn't get it to work. I'm not so sure why. Maybe that is a downfall of unit running an emulator. This can customize layout. Every time I go into this on Mumu, for some reason I can't get out of it, and I can't really make any changes. So unfortunately we're stuck with the UI on the screen. But until I find a way around that, yeah, for now we are stuck with that. Global sensitivities on medium and toggle when aiming. I didn't enable the smoothing or anything like that, but again, I didn't change any of these settings. And I didn't change anything in the controller settings either because I'm not using it. These are all the Division 2 buttons that are set out as standard. It is a shame, but I can't get these to work. I have to set them out myself, but I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Shadow quality I pumped down to low. VFX quality on high. It can be on very high, but again, it caused a bit of a stutter every now and again if there was a lot going on the screen. Turn the bloom down, that otherwise you'll get a very different light head effect. It'll look like a light bulb and it's really bad. Just turn the bloom off. I did turn the volumetric lighting off as well, give me a little bit of extra performance boost. So it just depends how good your actual machine is. And that's everything for the in-game settings. So now is going to be how do you create your mouse and keyboard profile? Well, if you go into the mouse and the keyboard section at the very top of the screen, you can click manage and you can import and say local import, and you can download the file that I've shared in the description and it'll give you this TDR file and you will be good to go. If you don't want to use that and you want to create it yourself, we'll click create and you get an absolute blank screen like this. And all you do is right click and then say tap spot, and that will, give you the option as if it's going to tap the screen with a physical press, because it's a touch screen. So as you can see, I put F there so that we know then when we come to boxes, doors, or anything we have to interact with, we can just press F like we would in the Division 2 and you'll be absolutely golden and good to go. We can put a tap spot here for P for the party menu. We can right click on the radar and put M for the map. I like to put one for I on the bag so it takes me straight to my inventory. And then we can then go down to direction and we can put that over the directional pad. Now, there is one thing that you can do. So obviously, when you are running, you've got a slide and a tap, which is what happens in the game. And you can actually set that. So there's a slide section here. And you can kind of just draw it. It didn't do it. So slide, and you can just kind of draw your way up like that and then press shift. And that will do the same thing. That will auto run, but it takes a while to get going. And if you're in a bit of a pressure situation, I just kind of didn't like it. So I didn't opt for that. I opted for changing the setting for the run sensitivity in the settings, which I showed you earlier on. I put that at 100 and then I just press W and you just auto run. And I felt that was just better for me as a whole. So that's everything for now. So we'll click save on that. But obviously what we need to do now is we need to go outside. So the moment, I'm having to use the pointer to left click and hold to kind of direct myself about, which is a little bit annoying, but I'll show you how to change that as well. So now we're outside, we've got the rest of these controls. I'm hoping I can figure out how to get these controls invisible. But like I said, unfortunately, the UI editing doesn't work in Mumu for some reason. So we'll click the keyboard again, and we're going to edit our scheme. And now we've got a couple of things that we can do. So we can right click on the fire button, for instance, here. And if you see the fire attack, we're going to drag that one out and it classes as a left click. Then we've got the aim one. You can do the right click one, or you can do tap spot and just press, it says press shift. Click your right mouse button and it works. We can right click the vault one and we can press control, right click on that one and press space, right click this one and press R for reload. And then for this one, I couldn't get the double tapping of space bar to work correctly. It kind of interfered with the regular space, so I just changed that to Alt, and that worked absolutely fine as well. And then on here at the bottom, you can just press 1 for gun number 1, 2 for gun number 2, or actually, if you wanted to, I'm not sure if you can set it on a scroll. We might try that in just a second. And then the special I put to T because that's what global modifier is on Division. And then we've got Q, and then we've got E, sorry. And then that was kind of it. And if I just kind of save that now for a second, you can see now when we press W, we'll auto run straight away. No lagging at all. But again, I still can't use the mouse without, having to hold it down and click it. So if you go back into the edit the scheme, right click, and the one you're looking for is aim. Then you set a key to go into aim mode. So I've been using, for some reason, I've been using O. I don't know why. You can use one of your F keys or something like that, but make this pretty small and just put it up here out of the way. For some reason, sometimes it glitches out if you've got it in the middle or something like that. I don't know why. But basically, this you can set it to an F key. If you set it to an F key, though, just be wary if your keyboard or Windows or Steam or something else is going to be reacting to that F key. Or I don't use for anything at all. But if you're typing in in-game chat, you're going to need it to be a key that is not a letter. So for instance, so you can just click that, by the way, and just change it, to whatever you want. We could change it to 5. Like it really doesn't matter. And then we press save. So at the moment you can see I've got the cursor on the screen. I can select my mission board and stuff and things like that. But then if I press O now, all of a sudden I am using the crosshairs in the middle of the screen. I can right click, I can shoot, I can move around, and everything is working hunky-dory. If I want to go back to having to select something on the screen, I just press my O key, and then my mouse comes back and I can select a playlist. I can do, exactly what I want. But then your other key binds still work. So for instance, we know we've got an I on that one there. So if I press I, it automatically loads up to my inventory because it just presses that thing on the screen. So yeah, that's everything that's great. So I'll tell you what, then let's just have a quick experiment on here with the slider. So if we right click and we go scroll, tap to click a key. So if we press 1 and then we press 2, oh, hang on. But it is complaining that they're duplicates. But can we? Oh, it doesn't let them be duplicates. Oh, that's a shame. Because then that would work perfectly. We could scroll up to get that gun and scroll down to get that gun. Does the game default for 1 and 2? Leave that there. Scroll. Hang on, if I press O. No, it's actually scrolling. So it's not actually pressing the keys. Surely that's not right. Because we put it there. Yeah, not sure about that. But I'm going to go back to pressing 1 there and pressing 2 there. But if you do make any interesting changes to the file, let me know. It's obviously good to build something out as a community. Obviously as well, what I forgot to do here is press G for grenade and V for your med kit as well. You could put C for chat box if you wanted to here as well. Like there's, a huge amount of possibilities that you can do. In fact, there is one missing. It's around here. I put tab because that's what punches in the Division as well. You'll just need to get close to somebody and test that out and just make sure that you've got that in the right place. But I'm pretty sure it's around the that setting. I'll just let me just click to a keyboard. If I load my TDR scheme up and press edit, you can see, yeah, I've got the tab there, so you'll be able to use it, the O key. So that might be the one that you might just want to change. That's completely up to you. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I hope this was useful, and I hope you're having a good time in the Division Resurgence. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.